we really gonna pretend like we didn't just see that on the show? Like, are we really gonna do that, Drew? Really? Like, you didn't just say or do that? Really? What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Jada here, back with another video, and today we are going to be recapping Real Housewives of Atlanta season 15. I have not talked about this show in a hot minute. I think the last time I did a recap, it was for episode 3 to 6 or something like that. And obviously, as you guys already know, they have already started dropping the reunion episodes. So yeah, it's definitely been some weeks. Regardless of that, we're going to dive into pretty much all the episodes after episode 6 up until the reunion, because I need to watch all of the reunion before I give any type of recap. I'm gonna have to give myself a minute on that part, but another video will be coming on the reunion. Hopefully they don't have too many parts, because y'all know when it comes to Real Housewives of Atlanta, they love to divide it into like 3 or 4 parts for no reason. Okay, just drawing out the drama. Let's hop right into it. I'm just going to talk about, you know, obviously some of the things that I thought were highlights. Maybe I'm just not going to be talking about every single thing. So of course Sheree decided she wanted to plan a girls trip. I think I talked about her trying to plan or put together some type of lunch or dinner, and everybody wore like Gucci or something like that, and they were trying to come together, basically apologize to each other, talk about their problems, try to work out their issues before they go on this girls trip to Portugal. But that crashed and burned because these women do not know how to have civil conversations anymore. Okay, I don't know if Bravo just told them make it as dramatic as possible, but Lord, like, no conversation is normal these days on Real Housewives of Atlanta. When they went to Portugal, they had this dinner, and Drew kind of felt a little attacked because I guess the ladies, or specifically Sheree, had called her out about some things with regards to paying her bills. And obviously she had like a lawsuit that she'd spoken about before, and how she's being sued for like $1,000, and everyone's just looking at her confused, like, why are you being sued for $1,000, Drew? Like, what? So it was just really looking kind of crazy. I feel like Drew, I liked her in the beginning, and then she started showing her behind and kind of lying a lot. Like, she kept getting caught in a lot of lies, and even when she would get caught in lies, she would pretend as though she don't know what you're talking about. It never happened. It never existed. It never occurred. And it's just like, what? Are we really gonna pretend like we didn't just see that on the show? Like, are we really gonna do that, Drew? Really? Like, you didn't just say or do that? Really? It was just little things. I was just like, okay, I can't rock with you no more, Drew. You getting on my nerves now. So whenever she would get in like fights or something, or get emotional from an argument with somebody else or a conversation, I wouldn't really feel bad for her, because again, it was like, okay, you're gonna need to fess up to some things. We can't look at you the same way anymore if you're just gonna keep lying. It just seemed like she kept changing her story about this whole lawsuit thing, and during the dinner she runs off, starts crying. Okay, and it was just really weird. You could tell there was probably other things going on, but nobody really wanted to ask, because Drew is just such a secretive person. She doesn't really want to talk about anything. So it's just like, okay, what you want us to do then? If you don't want to talk about it, like, what you want us to do? Moving on from that, Kenya ends up falling, okay, because it was a rainy season, unfortunately, in Portugal. And of course, the ladies had to make mention about that every 2 seconds of the trip. Why would you book a trip to Portugal when you know it's the rainy season and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, can you shut up? Like, y'all are on a girls trip in Portugal. Like, who cares if it's raining? Whatever. You can't do certain things outside right now. All right, cool. But it's just, it really felt so stupid, the things that they were bringing up. It's just like, okay, and? But Kenya ends up falling. It's raining, it's wet outside. She falls, and I guess she fell on her hip or something. She was in pain, it seems, and they had to rush her to the hospital. She forces Candy to go with her, and Candy definitely, you know, the entire time she's just like, I'm ready to go. Like, can we hurry this up? I'm trying to be a friend to Kenya and be here for her, but at the same time, it's just like, I want to go. Okay, I want to enjoy this trip. And there isn't much of the trip that she really got to enjoy either, because she had to end up leaving, I think like a day or two before everybody else did. So during this time, I think Drew and Courtney ended up having a conversation about Kenya falling. And Courtney basically says, you know, that's Kenya's karma. And Drew didn't feel good about that. She was just like, I don't like the sound of that. And then she also told Kenya about what Courtney had said. Me personally, even though it was wrong to say, was she incorrect? Probably not. I think karma works in mysterious ways, and I honestly feel as though when it comes to Kenya, she has honestly been such a crap individual on this show, and I just personally feel as though even though what Courtney had said was wrong, okay, on her part to say, it's just kind of like, but it kind of was karma though. I'm just going to be honest. It's just kind of like when you keep doing things to other people, eventually it's going to come back to you in some shape or form. Whatever you put out there, it's going to come back to you more than likely tenfold. So yes, I do feel bad obviously for her falling, but at the same time it's just like you treat other people like garbage. You talk to other people like they're beneath you. You talk to other people like they're also garbage. I just don't know if I necessarily disagree with what Courtney said. I just honestly don't think that makes her a bad person for her to say. I wouldn't have said it out loud. It would have been a thought that came to my mind, but I wouldn't have said it out loud like Courtney did, but she did, and you know, that ensued into a whole other issue. But moving forward, some point during the night, or one of the nights that they were in Portugal, they ended up drinking a lot, having like a girls chat or slumber party type of thing, and something had came up about Drew kissing Latoya. Okay, so Latoya was in the last season, and that was when they had the whose bachelorette was it? Oh yeah, Cynthia, but Cynthia's now divorced, so that was a really quick marriage. But moving forward, Cynthia had her bachelorette, and she obviously had all the women come to the house, and they had these male strippers. And Candy said she came downstairs and she saw Drew and Latoya off in the corner making out, basically like kissing. And Latoya during the reunion, she said that she kissed Drew. She said that came out of her mouth. Now, what gets me is that Drew tries to make it seem like Candy didn't see what she saw. She clearly saw you making out with Latoya. And even Latoya said that she kissed you. Okay? What gets me though is that after all of this, Latoya tries to backtrack and say, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. We didn't kiss. And it's just kind of like, are you just trying to have another storyline so you can get back on the show, Latoya? Because you're not. You're not getting back on the show. So please don't lie, okay? We both know more than likely Drew was making out. Even though we didn't see it, I believe Candy. I believe Candy is not lying and she actually saw Drew kissing Latoya. But either way, this came up because clearly Drew, she was actually supposed to be a character in Todd, Candy's husband's movie. She was basically supposed to be having like this intimate scene or sex scene with another woman. And she was pretty much saying that she had to get herself comfortable with the idea because she'd never really been with a woman like that. And Candy's just like, what are you talking about? Like, you made out with Latoya like a year and a half ago or so. And I was like, probably. It's highly probable. But Drew kept insinuating that Candy was lying and that she was making up stuff. And I'm like, what would Candy have to gain for making up stuff about you, Drew? You know what I'm saying? It's just things like this. It's just like, Drew, it's okay if you kiss the girl. You know, like, we don't care, okay? And even Candy said that we don't care what you do, but don't lie and say that you didn't do it when we saw you. You know what I'm saying? It's just things like that, like just lies after lies. It's just like, girl, fess up to something. It just seemed like she's just really fake to me. So that's why I can't rock with Drew. But moving forward, Marlo had started really seeing this guy that she happened to go on like a blind date with. She ended up liking him, but I think she broke it off by the end of the show. Tanya, she got pregnant even though her husband has to travel for work back and forth, so she definitely was kind of getting frustrated with that. Just like, how are we supposed to make a baby if you're never here? But she did get pregnant, and she got to share the news with the ladies after she shared it, of course, first with her family. But of course, Drew had to make it where, you know, she felt as though Sonia was doing too much with the reveal and that she should have just went to everybody and said she was pregnant. But I feel like the way that Sonia did it, you know, with the whole picture taking thing, I thought it was nice. I thought it was cute. But Drew, I think, is just an attention seeker, and she just gets mad whenever the attention isn't on her. That's just personally how I feel. And when she kind of ran off crying and expected all the ladies to come and soothe her, that definitely kind of solidified that thought for me. It's like, whenever the attention isn't on her and the attention isn't really like positive, oh no, honey, no, this is not gonna work. So I was just getting kind of really aggravated with Drew in that moment, because it's like, let Sonya have her moment, okay? It's just like, are you jealous? Like, it's just really kind of weird for me, their relationship. But unfortunately, Sonya does miscarry. She lost the baby, and unfortunately she was by herself in that moment. And I think she was actually in New York, she said, doing an event. So yeah, I really think that was really sad. But she did have a rainbow baby. She got pregnant again, and she is now 4 months, I believe. At least as of the reunion, okay, that they're filming or dropping episodes of right now. But during the reunion, she reveals that she was 4 months pregnant. So I'm ecstatic for her. Sheree also decided to throw a party for her granddaughter. I think she called it a sip and see. And it was so elaborate and so over the top. It was so Sheree, and I just love it. It kind of reminded me of the Chateau Sheree, because remember, for years she was trying to build this house and everybody was just making fun of her for it. But yeah, I just think that it was so cute. I definitely would do something like that for my grandkids. I'm not even gonna lie. I would definitely be that glamour, okay? During the sip and see, her ex-husband Bob comes in and brings this woman that nobody really knew, but she introduced herself. She wasn't like the standoffish type. She introduced herself, but we end up finding out that that was actually a child of his before him and Sheree's marriage. But even though obviously him and Sheree have been divorced since 2007, I think, it's still weird, okay? And the ladies also find it weird, because they're like, who is this girl and why is she in the picture with y'all with the baby? It's just hella weird. So yeah, that gets talked about, but you could tell Sheree doesn't really care, okay? She's moved on. They've been divorced for years now, over a decade, and it's just kind of like, why should she care? Even if he did cheat and had the kid when they were married, it's like, who cares? Like, she ain't with the man no more, you know? But eventually we start to see that Drew and Ralph are having marital issues still. I think Drew was kind of lying in the beginning when the producers had asked her in her interview, like, okay, how are you and Ralph doing? And she says, oh, we're in a great place. I honestly think they weren't. I think from the beginning of this show, they were not in a good place, and she was just trying to, you know, save face. But I think that they were having issues for a while now, and it just came to a head, and eventually both of them decided to file for divorce. But I think Drew ended up getting her papers in first or something like that, like minutes before Ralph. So technically she filed for divorce from him, but technically both of them were trying to file for divorce from each other. So before the reunion, we see part of the last episode where some things have been revealed, so to speak. Some rumors have come out with regards to Drew possibly being with a woman, cheating on Ralph with a woman. During the reunion, they're definitely going to need to talk about a lot of these things. They are kind of teasing the next episode where they're going to talk about it, but you could already see that Drew is kind of over it. However, I'm not really surprised. I don't think you guys are probably even surprised watching it, to be honest. It just was kind of like, we saw it coming. It's already getting catty. I watched the first episode of the reunion. It's already getting rah-rah-ish. But I'm gonna save that for another video. But y'all let me know what your thoughts were on all of the things that I mentioned. Of course, I missed a few things here and there because I didn't want to talk for too long. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about what I thought was interesting, just the different highlights here and there. But y'all let me know your thoughts on these last couple of episodes leading up until the reunion. And also, please stay tuned for my reunion recap. Okay, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.